Hi everyone, good evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today's video is a bit unusual, a bit different because I normally don't talk about Islam that much on my channel. You know what they say that religion is a controversial issue, so don't talk about religion. But I think that religion is one of my most favorite topics. I'm extremely passionate about spirituality in general, not just about Islam, but I've always been very keen and enthusiastic to read and learn and discover all other cultures, other philosophies. When I was a student at Mahatma Gandhi Institute, there was a wonderful library there, and I was so interested in reading all kinds of books on other religions, which was one of the best days of my life. I learned so much, and just learning about these other ways of viewing the world has enabled me to be able to create relationships or friendships with people who are extremely different from me. I live in Mauritius, and we have people of all kinds of ethnicities, backgrounds, cultures, beliefs, etc. And it is extremely important to be able to respect and also understand what the other people believes in. Even if you yourself you don't share the same philosophy, but you have to know. It's always a good thing to be well informed. Having said that, when it comes to Islam, what are the things that I love the most about Islam? Well, I have to say that I am not a super pious or practicing Muslim who is perfect or a role model. It's a very delicate subject because most people think that in Islam it's either black or white. So either you're a believer or you're not a believer. There is no in between. And also there are many misconceptions when it comes to Islam. There are many contradicting, conflicting views. Some people think that this is acceptable, some people think that this is not acceptable. When it comes to things like the hijab itself, as you can see, I am not wearing a hijab right now, but I do wear it on and off. I was wearing it full time at some point in my life, and I don't have anything against the hijab, but it's just that I feel like my spirituality, my modesty, my faith is not just restricted to the way I dress. Because there was a point in my life where I was wearing hijab and I looked very pious, but then I was struggling with some other issues and I was not really a role model as in that ideal Muslim woman. And I think like anyone who follows a religion or a philosophy or whatever it is, it's not always easy to maintain that. You know what you have to do, but it's not easy to maintain it. There are moments where you feel lost, where you feel confused, where you just don't know how to. You feel like it's a lot of pressure to be perfect, and us human beings, we are not perfect. We are all trying our best. We are struggling. We care about our own well-being, and we want to become a good human being, but sometimes we fail. And like anyone else, I'm trying to find my way, and spirituality has always been very important for me. Even when I was younger, I remember that I used to get a lot of solace from praying. I used to pray once or twice in a day, sometimes more, sometimes less. And for me, at the end of the day, it's all about sincerity. Whatever you're doing, if the intention is not there, if you're not doing it for the right reasons, then it's as if it doesn't work, in my own humble opinion. So Islam is, many people misunderstand Islam because it's true that in the media we get these images of Islam being associated with terrorism, and people get the impression that Muslim women or Muslims in general are very oppressed. They are very, like, they don't actually have fun because we are not allowed to drink alcohol. We are not allowed to date. We are not allowed to, what else? Even music is a bit frowned upon. So Islam is a religion that is perceived as being restrictive and very harsh, very hard to follow. Is it the case? Well, from my own experience, from someone, I am someone who I've been born in Islam, and I still practice Islam to the best of my ability. I would say that that's not totally true. And us Muslims, we believe that Allah, like God, has created everything that He has told you to do or not do is for your own good. Just like when you go to school, there are certain rules and laws and regulations. So it's not to torture you, but it's just to be able to give you a certain structure and to teach you how you need to behave in order to for everyone to live in harmony, to exist in harmony, and so that nothing unhealthy or dangerous happens to you. But obviously you need to have a lot of wisdom to be able to understand that the words of God and what He's telling you to do and why He's telling you to do that. Perhaps the issue that we often face is that there is a lot of judging that goes on. So perhaps Muslims tend to be a bit harsh with each other. They are always trying to give advice to their fellow brothers and sisters as to how you should improve, which is really interesting. But when you're giving advice, you have to be careful with the tone that you're using, because many times it's very hurtful and you make the person feel like they are not good enough. So whatever they have done good, it's like it has no worth, it has no value. So that's how I feel personally when someone will come to tell me that I'm not doing this correctly. This is something so personal. Spirituality and faith is some things which are very, very personal. So no one knows what is really inside your heart or inside your mind. Only God will know that. Having said that, what I love the most about Islam is the emphasis on cleanliness, the emphasis on humility, the fact that you're always reminded that this world is temporary and that someday you are going to find an answer to all your problems and your problems are going to be over. I love how you are encouraged to think of God every time, every day, at all times, and that you're constantly trying to improve yourself. I love the fact that that we don't have a clear image or description of God, but it's actually abstract, yet you can feel it. You can feel the connection. You feel emotional when you watch a video or you hear someone talk about God. You just feel it, like He is very much here and He knows you and He loves you and He wants the best for you. There are so many things which I really love and respect and admire in Islam, and I would say that if not for Islam, I would have perhaps struggled a lot more with my mental health, with my life in general. I admit that I'm still not an example. I'm not the right example for someone who wants to find like the ideal Muslim woman or the ideal Muslim. I am not that person. I used to believe that I was that person, but then there are certain things which happen in my life, and then I discovered that I have to work on a lot of things within my own being. And yes, it is true that most Muslims, they will identify themselves as believers based on the way they dress. Lately, I've been noticing that most people are concerned with looking like a Muslim but not acting like a Muslim. I'm not judging anyone, I'm just saying that for my own self. Because yes, it's true that Allah has commanded us to wear hijab, Allah has prescribed modesty for men and women. It's true that modesty is way, way, way better. I know that hijab is extremely important, and I do hope that one day I will stop struggling with it that much. But more important than that piece of cloth or that dress is your behavior. When it comes to modesty, for example, I know many girls who don't wear hijab but who are very, very modest. They are very shy. They will never flirt with a guy. They will never you know what I'm talking about. They preserve their modesty and their chastity and whatever it is. But at the same time, sometimes you might be wearing hijab, but you might be attracting things which are not very healthy for you, or you might be doing certain things consciously or unconsciously that are totally contradictory to the very concept of hijab. This is just my own personal opinion, and I understand that most people, Muslims, might not agree with that. They will tell you that you either wear the hijab or you don't, but it's not, it's an obligation and you have to wear it. So these are basically a few of my random thoughts about Islam, about my faith and my journey. Obviously, what I've just said is just a very, very tiny part of the whole picture. I am I am probably going to elaborate more on that on my spiritual journey in my future videos. I just need to have that time and energy to be able to create more content for my channel. It's not always easy, but thanks for being here, and I wish you an excellent evening. I will catch you soon.